everybody, welcome back to 10-Minute Tasting. Today I am with Amanda and we are trying some interesting wines and beers. We are talking all about non-alcoholic wine and beers today. So NA wine and beer is kind of looked down upon in the wine world and the beer world. However, it really shouldn't be. It's actually projected that 20% of the beer market is going to be purely NA beer by 2025, and that's just in the United States. In Europe, it's been a huge trend for quite some time, and so America is kind of just starting to catch up with that. So with that, Amanda, tell me a little bit about NA wine and beer and why you're a connoisseur.
I don't know if I'm a connoisseur, but I'm learning. So NA wine and beer, it could be NA, non-alcoholic, de-alcoholized is another word that they use for it, alcohol removed, any of those things you can see on the label. It basically just means that the alcohol by volume is 0.5% or less to be classified as non-alcoholic or de-alcoholized. So there's a lot of reasons why people would maybe want to drink non-alcoholic wine and beer. If you are choosing to drink less or choosing to drink more in moderation, it's a great choice for that. If you are 6 months pregnant, like I am, it's a great choice because I feel like I'm not missing out as much. If you're doing dry July, do people do dry July?
At this point in time, I don't think I would be participating in a dry July.
Maybe you're doing dry July, then this would be a great option for you as well. A lot of people do think that non-alcoholic wine and beer is, non-alcoholic wine is basically just grape juice. We know as kids you get served with sparkling grape juice and you feel all festive.
I used to get that every year and I felt so fancy.
Right? But it's not. Non-alcoholic wine and beers, actually, they're both made just like traditional wines and just like traditional beers. The difference comes at the end when the alcohol is removed. So there's a few different ways that can happen. For beer, the de-alcoholization can come from limited fermentation, dilution, or fermentation-free. So that would make it non-alcoholic. For wine, there's two steps that happen at the very end. They either remove the alcohol from through reverse osmosis or through steam. So they steam distillation is what it's called.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's not just grape juice. It actually is legitimate wine and legitimate beer. So you can feel very classy drinking either one. And we'll let Cheyanne kind of talk about the history of why did non-alcoholic wine and beer come to be.
Yeah. So as many people know, Prohibition happened, unfortunately, but it's a part of our history and a great part of our history.
Something to talk about.
Exactly. So non-alcoholic beverages really started to take place in the United States around 1919. And essentially what happened was distillers and breweries were trying to find ways to still make money, but they didn't have the product that they used to be able to sell. So the breweries that were trying to figure out how to make money, they figured out that if they would boil their beer, it would remove the alcohol down to 0.5% or below, so the NA standard. And it would also destroy a lot of the other flavors because boiling beer would destroy the hoppiness, any of the treatments that they would do on the beer. And actually, that is why there are so many big brands that have flavorless beers now. Not to name any. After Prohibition, these large beer companies, they were like, oh, we're still making money off of selling flavorless beer and bland beer. So they ended up figuring out how to keep the alcohol in it with having flavorless bland beer. And it's why it's so hard for a lot of American palates to switch to either a craft beer or beers from around the world, because those beers are always so much fuller, they're a lot heavier because we started to drink non-alcoholic beer, which didn't have quite as much flavor, and that's what our palate started to enjoy.
Right now, my palate enjoys any of it.
And a couple of the other interesting facts that I found out while I was doing a little bit of research for this was that in Germany, approximately 1 in every 15 beers that is served is actually NA.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
I would not have expected that from the Germans.
I know. I was very interested in that as well. And also in Spain, they consume the most NA beer, and they're starting to have a really big non-alcoholic craft scene.
Okay.
So, like I said earlier, a lot of European lifestyles are kind of switching more towards the non-alcoholic side or the low alcohol side. And that's kind of one of the big reasons why I think it's starting to come back around to the United States and really be a big part of our alcohol and liquor industry.
Sure. That makes sense. And on the wine side with, wine spritzers and low alcohol wine cocktails are really getting popular. So maybe that's a little interim step, and then you could go to the alcohol free.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it also has to do with a lot of the fad diets that are out there. People are wanting to really stick to those, which kudos to you. And all of these options are really good ways to kind of stick to that if you're wanting to cut out more alcohol and be able to kind of enjoy your 5 a.m. workout, which sounds terrible to me, but I'll keep working out at 9.
Right? Definitely.
So we do carry quite a few, like I said, a lot of different NA options in the store. Obviously, the O'Doul's is a tried and true standard.
Yep, we will always have that.
And then a couple that we started carrying a couple of months ago was the Ariel Chardonnay, and we also carry their Cabernet Sauvignon.
I can vouch for both. I've had several glasses of both. They are both good. If you like Chardonnay or Cab. And actually, if you're not usually a Cab drinker, if you're a little bit lighter red drinker, I think you would still enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and taste this Chardonnay. I smelled it earlier. It has a very interesting smell to it.
Yeah, this is, it is a lightly oaked Chardonnay, so it does go through a little bit of barrel fermentation. It has some apple and butterscotch notes to it.
You definitely get that apple on there, which is really nice.
It's really refreshing.
It's very refreshing. Very refreshing.
Right now. Yeah. Yeah, the oak is very light.
So, you're the connoisseur. What would you pair with this wine?
Currently, if you ask me today, I would pair absolutely anything with it. But Ariel Wines, they actually recommend for this pairing any seafood or fish dishes, specifically grilled scallops. We're getting into grilling season, so that'd be a great pair. And a pasta with a light cream sauce would be a good match as well.
So we also carry a couple of NA beers, like I said, O'Doul's, and then we also carry Hairless Dog out of Minneapolis. So we carry their IPA, their black ale, and their coffee stout. They have a really interesting story behind their beers and why they decided to go with the NA route instead of just doing regular craft beer. You can find that all on their website. So we are tasting the black ale today.
I haven't had this one yet.
Which I have actually never had a black ale, so I'm kind of interested in this.
Yeah, I don't think I've had a black ale ever actually either. I have had their coffee stout. The coffee stout was good.
Would it pair well with my morning workouts
yes,
at 9 a.m.?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. It does have caffeine in it. So
really?
10 o'clock at night might not be the time to drink it. Oh, it's very smooth. And it does have a lot of flavor.
It does have a lot of flavor. I was expecting, not gonna lie, I was expecting something that was very bland.
Yeah.
But this has a ton of flavor. I would just drink this on its own.
Yeah,
but
definitely. Could definitely drink it on its own. They recommend pairing it with some heartier dishes for fall and winter. But actually, it would go really good for spring and summer with a garden salad with some light, nice creamy blue cheese dressing. Would be a really good pair for that. I think the flavors would complement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. And that is coming from not a big beer drinker, so that's
Awesome. Well, I am not quite a convert, but I know where I will be heading if I ever decide to do a diet or get pregnant or just want to have a few less bad mornings.
Cheers to that.
Yes, cheers to that. Thank you so much for joining me, Amanda,